My name is Pamela Wells. I'm from Africa, Kenya. I was an HIV/AIDS activist, and from what I went through, I decided to go out public with my HIV positive status so that I could dispel the myths. When HIV was pronounced in Kenya in 1984, it was misrecorded. We were told that this disease is coming from the white man's country. It only catches long truck drivers, commercial sex workers, and people with multiple sexual partners. So if you only had one partner, then you are free from getting it. And that is how I got it. I got born again. You know, I come from a very conservative family and background. I was brought in a Christian setup. My father, having worked with Kenya Railways, he retired medically. So he said that because he was still strong, he wanted to work to God before he died. As such, he became a priest in a local Anglican church. And so I was born again at 11 years, and I dwelled in salvation until 1984, 85, around there, when I got this man. He was just out of college. He had started working. He was from one of the most recognizable colleges in Africa, in Kenya, East and Central Africa, University of Nairobi. So when he was out of college, he got a job with disposable income. So he wanted to start a family. And because he was in church, and because I was born again when I was young, and virginity was something which was very valid in my country and in my culture, and also in my background as a Christian. So I preserved myself for this man. So when he asked my hand in marriage, I said yes. And the following year, God blessed me with a son. That was 1985. Unfortunately, the son was never bouncing, only bounced for about 2 months. Then he started becoming sick on and off. He would be treated for malaria. You know, malaria is very common in my country, Kenya. And the following week, or after some days, he would again present with a very, very serious sickness. So my husband said that, Pam, from what I understand, you had never been active or healthy from birth. So maybe you are a sickle cell carrier. So we want to do to this boy all the tests. So we did all the tests for the boy, but all the tests came out negative. But we omitted the part of HIV and AIDS because it never occurred to me that I would be infected with one of the life-threatening disease in the world, which was declared a national disaster in my country, Kenya, in 1999 by our former president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Unfortunately, my son lived and died after 9 years. The following year, which was the 10th anniversary of my marriage, my husband also passed away. By this time, it had never clicked in my mind that it was anything to do with HIV, because I knew that from my background, I can't have it because I only had one partner, and this partner only had 2 girlfriends in his life. So we were good, and because we were Christians, so we never perceived ourselves to be at risk. So after my husband died, we went home. You know, in Africa, everybody comes from a village where their ancestors came from. So we went home to the village, we buried my husband, and after burial, I was supposed to go through other customary laws, because in my country, and especially in my culture, I'm a Luo by tribe. We believe in wife cleansing and wife inheriting. And the wife cleansing involves having intimacy with someone so that you could be free from the bad omen of the dead person. So I was forced to go through all those customary laws, but because it was too much for me as a woman, I decided, no, I'm not going on with this. So I ran and went to my mother. By that time, my mother was living in one of the capital cities in Nairobi city because she was very sickling, so she had to be near a good hospital. So when I went to Nairobi, and had only been married for 10 years, and this is the village that I was brought up. It is an estate where I was a role model, being that I was born again when I was young. I was example to all the girls. But when I came from my matrimonial home, I came back when I was very, very thin. I was just, I was just like a stick. I had lost all my hair. I didn't know what it was. I thought it is alopecia by what I know now. And I had spots all over my body. That was Kaposi sarcoma, cancer of the skin. Then people were just like, what's wrong? And these questions were too much for me. So I told my mom what I was going through with this man who was cleansing me. And because my mother also didn't know, and being a sick woman, she told me that, you have to go back and do the custom, because it's our custom. You have to go through it, otherwise you will also kill me. So I couldn't afford going back to that abuse. So I went to Mombasa. It's another coastal city. In Mombasa, my sister Rispa was living there. But when I went there, I wanted to collect the broken pieces of my life and continue with my life. So I got a job in a salon. But because of my body, which had marks and some were even bleeding, because I would have like a spot here. When it heals, another spot starts. So at the end of the day, I had those like a leopard's body. I was in bed the whole year, 2000, like that. In 2000, I opted suicide because now I had lost 2 children. The boy would be 28 now, because now I'm living with the virus for 28 years. Then the girl is now married. She is not HIV positive. Though I contracted the virus immediately, my first sexual encounter exposed me to the virus, from what I know now. And I had lost my brothers and sisters. So to me, I thought that this could be witchcraft. So I started associating my suffering with witchcraft. So I started going for witch doctors, medicine women. But I couldn't live in one apartment or one house, because neighbors would run away from that place. So in the year 2000, I opted suicide, which I tried, and it didn't succeed because I woke up in the hospital with all my children in the hospital, and I was tested that year in the year 2000 without my knowledge, but I was not told. And it was established that I had not only HIV, but I was in full-blown AIDS because I had TB, I had herpes zoster. Me, I'm going to Mombasa. I'm going back to Mombasa, and I'm taking all my children with me because I knew nobody would fend for them with me out of the way. So when I was just given the results, the nurse who gave me the results just show me, she saw me running out. She told me, Pam, please come fast. Just come. What do you want to do? I told her, I'm going to finish myself. And then she told me, no, before finishing yourself, it's okay, you want to finish yourself because I know how you're feeling. How do you know how I'm feeling and you're not HIV positive? But the lady had a very bad mark on her right eye face, that her nose on that side and her eye had collapsed, were not there. She told me, you look at me, she told me in Swahili, I've been HIV positive since 1991, and this is herpes zoster that affected my face. Then I sat down because she looked very beautiful to me. She was so big. I told her, my dear, are you telling me the truth? She told me, no, these days AIDS doesn't kill people. You die when you want to die. I told her, no, But me, when we did the statistics with you, you told me that I've been living with it for 17 years. She told me, yes, and you can still live. In fact, this is the beginning of your life. This is the second phase of your life. She really inspired me. I went home and told my brothers, my dear, I have AIDS. The brothers really supported me. They liked me until the time I went back to Mombasa. In Mombasa, I thought my children would understand my predicament. They never understood. When I told them that I had AIDS, my children really cried. People just came in the house thinking that someone has died again. They told me, Mom, you have really let us down. People were just abusing us in school, and you just have this disease for the prostitutes. We can't live with you. So I was really downhearted. My children had disowned me. So I had to travel back to Nairobi. When I went to Nairobi, there was this organization called Population Services International. They wanted people who were infected to train them on advocacy, to be activists, because doctors were telling people, don't have unprotected intercourse because you'll get AIDS. But they were not giving HIV a human face. What I would like to tell women outside there is that they should have bargaining powers. They should bargain, yeah? And you should not trust anybody before you have sex with him, even your own husband, because you don't accompany your partner 24/7. When he's out, he can do anything. But also, I want to tell people that someone who is HIV positive, they can live a quality life. Yeah, they can live a quality life, and they should not judge them. There is nothing bad they have done. It is just bad luck that they have it, but they can have children. In fact, you'll see my kids, they are very beautiful. Yeah, they are very beautiful. I have a grandson. He has to talk to me every day before he goes to bed. And they really like me. And because God allowed this to happen in my life, He wanted me maybe to strengthen somebody somewhere who is thinking that, oh, if I have it, then that is the end of my life. No. God, me, I like my God. I know in Canada people do not talk about God so much, but even God told, there's a Bible which somewhere that says that this sickness does not mean that you have to die when you have it. Maybe God just wants to glorify His Son in you. So I would also urge my fellow people who are living with HIV to be fighters, not quitters. Yeah, you fight on and strongly refuse to die. Me, I refuse to die, and I'll die at a good ripe age. Yeah.